All right, everybody. Tonight I'm going to talk about how I do fingernail polish and how I set it up and how I choose to do my mix, etc., etc. So, one thing I use is these little shot glass keg cups. I find them disposable and useful, and they're cheap, and it's a way that I make it work pretty simply and pretty cheaply. The fingernail polish that I'm going to use is a Sinful Colors. I know you guys can't see it. It's called Let's Talk. It's kind of a iridescent purple. Been shaking it up pretty good here. So the mix that I do is a 50-50 with just regular old lacquer thinner. As cheap as you can get, seems to work really good for what I'm doing. So we'll take and open this up here. Then you take your pipette, drop her down in there, and see if it comes out and where we can make a line on it. And I'll probably put the majority of this bottle in and put it on my project. I'm painting the Chrysler 300. This is just a color that I had in my collection, just waiting for the right car to paint it on. I think the fins on this is going to look really good. I just printed up a set of wire wheels that are going to work real good on there. So you get that set up. That's paint that amount of paint that we're gonna use, I think. Just gonna set this over to the side for right now. We may need to modify and add a little bit more. All right, so we have 10 squirts of 2 milliliter in the thing of paint. I know it doesn't show it, but we have 10 in there. So we're gonna put 10 of lacquer thinner. I just poured it out of the jug into the little cup. We'll put 10 of these in, and then we should be good to go. Being as you're putting lacquer thinner on a body, you have to make sure that it's got a good base to start. With that, I'm meaning good quality clear and a good quality base coat. Fingernail polish is opaque, so it's not going to lay on like a regular color. It's more like a candy. So basing your car in silvers and golds and bronzes and stuff like that will affect what your paint job turns out to be. So I based this car in gold. It's, to me, just out of the rattle can. That's what I did, and it'll give a different depth to it. And it really takes a lot of coats on them to start building your color up. So it takes a lot of time. When I first started spraying the fingernail polish, I painted a car and you couldn't see anything on it, and it drove me crazy for quite a while trying to figure out what I needed to do to get it to come up, and it's just the nature of the thing. So now that we've got our paint and our thinner mixed Badger mixer, Try not to make a mess with it, but get it all mixed up real good. Don't know if this is going to do it any type of justice at all. This color is going to be pretty cool. In all honesty, I think it's going to be pretty cool with the way that it turns out. So that's how I mix it to get it thinned out, and that might actually be just a little too thin. I might have to go back and modify my mix just a little bit. Each fingernail polish is a little bit different from what I've found. I've found them to where some like a 40-60 mix, some like 50-50, some like 40-60 the other direction. So it kind of all depends on how your setup is, how the paint is that you're spraying. I prefer this one brand. That's the one that I prefer to shoot. So I'm gonna put you guys on hold, and I will come back to you here in just a couple of minutes, and we will see some color on the car. So as I'm sitting here painting, this is my first coat. You just take, and I try to get in where everything's raised at, and you can see how flat this color actually turns out. The fingernail polish doesn't have any gloss to it whatsoever. It will be completely flat when it gets done. But this here is the first coat, and you just let it set for just a little bit. As soon as it hazes over, you're ready to go for the next. With this, I mean, you just start on with very light layers and just build your color up. The more color you put on, the darker it will get. So if you're trying to keep a light color out of it, very light coats and not many of them. This one here I want to be pretty dark, so it's going to get quite a few coats. But just you take and build it up and build it up and build it up. Patience is key. It's something I don't have a lot of, but I'm trying the best I can with a lot of these, and it's all a learning process. All right, this is after the first coverage coat, and you can start to see where we got some color differences. I went a little bit heavier here on the roof than I have on the sides. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of wet sanding. I got some dirt in the paint when I was painting, so is what it is. You live and learn, right? So I'm just gonna continue to lay the color on and try to get some more depth. So we sprayed all the paint out of the bucket. The beauty of this is now I can just throw that right away. Don't have to worry about cleaning any of it up. It can go right in the trash with the rest of it. Pipettes, same thing. Always make sure to wear gloves. Getting stuff off your hands, paint off your hands afterwards is not a very fun thing at all. This is what we ended up with. It's still drying. There's still, as you can see, it's starting to fade out and go very flat. It needs to be wet sanded again. I'm not happy with the way that a lot of it turned out, so I'm gonna wet sand it, and we will reassess what we've got to do, whether it needs another coat of purple again. We used about half of the container of the fingernail polish, so, and I have another one if I need it, so that's not any huge issue there. If it needs to have another layer of purple, it's going to get another layer of purple. If not, if we can sand it, that'll be cool, and we'll clear it. I use a Iwata Neo Hobby Lobby with a coupon. That's I've used it for probably 3 years now or so, and it hasn't had any issues whatsoever. I have it hooked to my big shot compressor, and I just have it running through a reducer. My air pressure seems to have creeped up a little bit, and I think that might have been what some of my problem was. So thank you guys for watching. I'll get this sanded down, and hopefully tomorrow we will either be able to add some more paint or maybe mix up some clear. see what it is. Thank you guys for watching.